elegant people out there, and welcome to Go My Favorite Sports Team, Season 5, Episode 3, I think is what it is. 4, 3.
You hear that? If you didn't know what episode of the season it was and what season it was, then you're a fake fan, and you're going to need to drop and give me $20.
Episode 5.
Episode 5? Tyler, give me $20.
Next time I see you, I'll give you $20.
All right, good. Good.
I guess I could just send it to you right now on my phone, but it's cooler if I hand it to you in cash.
Absolutely. Of course it would be. So please do.
How have you been, dude? You've been on adventures.
Yeah, I went to that place you went to.
You weren't there very long, though, were you?
No, not at all, which was kind of part of the reason why it was an arduous trip. I went to Thailand. Meanwhile, Tyler went for a spiritual journey and a self-reawakening and that cybernetic implant that he doesn't know about.
What?
Don't worry, your brain expunged me talking about it at all.
Oh.
He'll never know. He went into one massage parlor and just, they took out his brain, put in a new brain, and it's, anyone on the subreddit that's been noticing, Tyler seems off lately. Now you know why. Anyway, they didn't get me.
Is that why my right arm, it keeps going numb?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So I went to Thailand because there is a rescue out there called Thai Street Paws. It's a tiny rescue, and it's run by someone by the name of Tamara. Tam, I think she goes by. She's been running this rescue for about maybe 15 years now, and so Henry originally is from this rescue. We got Henry in the United States, in the United States of America, and we got him from a golden rescue, even though he's not really a golden, and we weren't looking specifically at the golden rescue. I think Amy was browsing Pet Finder and was looking through, and there was this dog that said, currently in foster, very handsome, but needs a gentle older dog. And so like, we know a gentle older dog. So, but when we, got Henry, we eventually found out, or pretty soon after that, found out about Thai Street Paws and what was going on out there. So, Chica just turned 11, basically, just turned 11. And she's doing amazingly good for 11. Like 11 and a golden, not really any hip issues, lots of energy, very excited, very playful. For 11, for a big dog like her, she's doing wonderfully. But one of the reasons she's doing so well is because she had Henry to play with pretty much every day. So we wanted to see about getting another dog. And then there was this dog over there named Cassandra. And so she was just so sweet, looked a bit like Henry, and just had a similar background where the dog had been hit by a car at some point, I think it goes. And so she was living with a dislocated hip. I don't know how long, but long enough to have a lot of atrophy. And so she was trying to, she obviously tried to compensate, but barely walking on it. Could hardly walk, given the limp, and was just struggling to survive. She also had this, a couple other issues, and obviously being out on the street in Thailand, not the best, environment. So, I mean, lucky to even make it to that age for some of these dogs with like all the not being vaccinated for any of the dog transmissible diseases. So that's one of the things that Thai Street Paws does, is try to make sure that if they catch, they can spay or neuter the dog and then give them a round of vaccines that they need to survive. They can't really take in all that many dogs, so a lot of these dogs are treated out on the streets because their whole facility is at capacity. And so, long story short, we went over there because the whole problem with Thailand, the whole problem with getting a dog from Thailand is recently the CDC changed its policies and Thailand became labeled as a high-risk country for rabies. Right?
Oh, yeah. I had a recommendation before I went over there to get a rabies shot, but I guess that's a new
So
thing.
it was actually, I got recently pretty sick because I did like 4 travel vaccines at once. I didn't get rabies, but it was like, I got chikungunya, I got Japanese encephalitis, and then I got Tdap update, and then typhoid. And I think Tdap is like several vaccines. It's a combo, but it's a booster.
Tetanus, diverticulitis,
maybe something like that. Either way, hit me like a truck. So I can talk about that later too. But we went to Thailand. We did all of the paperwork, and there's so much paperwork that you need to do because you can import a dog from a high-risk country, but they need to have obviously a rabies vaccine, and then they need to take a rabies titer test, which is the test to test how much of the rabies antibody from the vaccine they have, and they can only travel if they have above a certain level, or I forget what the exact metrics. This was the vets that did this. But even then, when we were going there personally because, we wanted to, number one, meet Tamara and be able to, because, losing Henry, she was the one that rescued him off the streets. And so we wanted to meet. And we also wanted to, we like to do these things personally. So we went over, it's 20 hours that way. And we're flying Eva Air, which was pretty good. I've never flown Eva before. And they had a decent reputation for handling dogs, because we had to have the dog in cargo to come back over. And the paperwork had to be explicitly done out. So we flew 20 hours there. We meet Cassandra, who we're calling Sandy, because, it's cute.
Yeah.
The thing about dog names that I've heard, and I've stuck with it, is like the last syllable is important. So Cassandra and Chica are the same. So Sandy helps switch it up a little bit. Yeah. And either way, long story short, it all went as smoothly as it could. I don't know if you saw this in Thailand, but the drivers in Thailand are the craziest, most insane, and I'm not exaggerating, it's nuts.
Oh, you haven't been to Vietnam.
Vietnam was worse?
Vietnam is crazier.
I don't see how it could be crazier. It was like there's
the motorcycle thing in Thailand where they're zooming in and out of cars and everything like that.
That's mostly what I was.
But they do the lane filtering. In Vietnam, imagine them having a refrigerator and all kinds of other stuff on the back of their bike while their whole family is sitting in their lap and they're driving.
Everywhere?
It's nuts. It's crazy.
Anyway, so we get there. The paperwork's in triplicate. There's some minor, slowdown at the final check at the airport for getting the final approval to do it. I didn't get the full gist of it, but it was very slow. Not enough people working there, and there might have been a little corruption. People expecting, some money under the table to get them to go faster. I don't know. I wasn't talking because I couldn't speak the language, so I didn't know for sure.
Well, and Thai is a tonal language, so it's like the difference between how you end a certain word changes its meaning entirely. So if you're trying to say somebody is beautiful and you pronounce it wrong, you call them unlucky.
Well, either way, I didn't even bother to try to learn everything. I barely learned thank you, and I've already forgotten it. It's also gendered. I didn't even realize that. Like, there's different thank you for men and women.
Ka is the N for women. Krap is the N for men.
Kat is thank you. Katmun kat?
Krap. It sounds like crap, but it's like crab and you roll your R.
Yeah. So we get on the flight back and, they go through everything again. They want every piece of paper, every email, every stage. They want everything. But they were very nice. And the thing is, Sandy is very sweet and very pretty and very gentle and super, super sweet. Just my goodness. And so just like, I'm fine. Just everything's fine. So she's been settling in very nicely. And we got back from that. By the time people are listening to this was a while ago, but that was quite an adventure. But I got so sick. Oh, I got so sick before, not after.
Yeah, from all the vaccinations.
Oh, man, it was rough doing 4 at once. And we weren't even in the country that long, and we weren't going into any location in the country that was going to be, a high mosquito population. We were in Bangkok the entire time.
Oh, so you were in South Thailand?
No, we were in North. Well, okay. It's south of the main body, but the reason I say not south is because Tamara is from the south of that along the long strip of land.
Okay, so
that's along the coast
peninsula.
There. So yeah, she works out of Songkhla, which is way down south, and so very, very different there versus Bangkok.
I guess Bangkok would be like middle then.
Yeah, if I was looking at it actually on a map, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where did you go in Thailand?
Chiang Mai, which is very north in the mountains.
I see why there.
It's beautiful. I don't know. It has a lot of Buddhist temples. It's hiking trails. It's less big city.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
But It was really nice. I liked Chiang Mai a lot.
Songkhla is on the very southern part of that stretch of land there. So near the border to Malaysia.
Okay, yeah. So very south.
Yep, and that was our journey.
Well, it's good to have you back. I'm sorry you got sick from all the vaccinations and stuff.
That's okay.
Glad everything went well and you guys are here, because there's been a lot of stuff going on in the world of travel in the United States. So hearing that it went smoothly, as smooth as can be on that front, is great.
That's fair. There has been a lot. Yeah, LAX was weirdly not bad at all. I didn't even see, I don't think ICE was at LAX for, at least not in the terminal that I was at, the international one, which I would have thought that's where they would be.
You would think.
But thankfully not there.
But we're back into it, and we've got a tremendous sport to talk about today.
No sport news?
It's so far in the future from when we're recording this. Do you want to do something? We could talk about it.
I've got something that's I think is a little interesting, that is tangential to the world of sports, and you'll see why in a little bit. One of the most prolific brand names known in sports, probably, and it'll not be what you think it is, but might go bankrupt.
Okay.
And this is a very recognizable name, but the company is not doing well, and I didn't realize that it wasn't doing well. And that's GoPro.
Oh, yeah. Action sports. Yeah.
Yes.
They haven't been doing well for a while.
They have not. GoPro, I didn't realize this because I just so happened to be looking on Reddit, and there was like this financial subreddit that was talking about it, and they posted their quarterly results, and they lost $98 million in a quarter, which, you know, in company speak, you know, could be devastating, could be like, we barely missed it. You never know with companies. But their share price, if you follow stocks at all, its highest was like peak $80 a share. Guess what it's at right now?
10?
67 cents.
Are you kidding me?
It's tiny.
So I actually read an article about this a few weeks ago, and talking about how the CEO completely mismanaged like how they did their marketing, and how they had such a niche in the action sports industry and then massively dropped the ball.
Yeah, if you look up Nicholas D. Woodman, I'm on his Wikipedia page, is the CEO, I think still, because I think he owns majority of the company. Mm-hmm. He was originally into sports, and he wanted to make GoPro because he wanted a camera that he could have on his whatever he was doing. I forget exactly what it was about. But he just wanted, actually it was made, the first one was 2004 is when I think it started, made his first big sale when a Japanese company ordered 100 cameras at a sports show, because that's really what it centered along. And it's kind of like GoPro and Red Bull, I kind of like are very similar in terms of they're always on the extreme sports, and they're always doing, you know, the stuff like that. And it'd be a shame to see that name go, because I've bought GoPros a lot. I use GoPros for all the van vlogs. I like GoPro, even if the image quality isn't that great compared to other things, because it's just like, it's a cheap little camera you can throw around. Not that they're that cheap anymore, but, you know, the whole idea of it was just like, this can die, and I'd be okay with that. And I think that that's a niche in filming and cinematography. If it just had higher video quality, it could actually be something, but I don't know how they could possibly turn the company around, and it would be a shame.
My thought, it has less to do with video quality and more to do with the fact that it overheats so incredibly easily.
That is true, yeah.
Like I went rock climbing, and I was wearing my GoPro because I like using my GoPro for vlogging, and it turned off because of overheat in minutes. Like I barely had started climbing, and then it was off. Mm-hmm. And that's a massive, massive issue. If you're trying to capture action sports that aren't in the snow and it overheats like that, that's a problem, because then you're not even able to capture it. And I understand reasoning, because they're trying to keep all of them watertight and all of this different stuff. But the price getting outside of the norm, the lack of real big innovation also in GoPro has been an issue, because it's been the same. They haven't expanded. They haven't really kept a huge grasp on the action sports things. Like Insta360 came out now, and it's better than what the GoPro Fusion was, which is now like the GoPro 360, and a number of different things that have come in. And then they also never stepped into other avenues. They always were like, it's just video, it's just video. They never innovated on the audio front or anything on those as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And then there's obviously, I don't know if you want to talk about, but the bad recommendation I made for the 360 camera for you taking out with your mom.
Oh my God, I still have to fix that footage.
Which I would be happy to help out at some point still. But yeah, it was just like, this was early on. They were into 360 cameras, and they only just released an update to that, like last year. They only just got, and so other companies, so they're going to have to innovate really, really hard, or which is so strange because like it's the company's doing so poorly, but the name recognition is so strong. Like I think everybody knows GoPro. At least I know GoPro really well, and a lot of people out there like have probably seen tons of GoPro video of sports. Pretty much almost all sports video are filmed from that action cam. At least like, you know, the extreme sports are filmed from that action cam's perspective. So to have one of these out there not do well and go under that'd be crazy.
Well, and the big thing that they were slow on the uptake of is the live stream capability of GoPro. If you think about if they had early adopted that, having that on every single race car, like all of those things, how much that would have helped them on top of other things like
broadcast style accessories that would help with production, do all that kind of stuff.
For sure. So, but that said, I still like I use my GoPro as my vlogging camera because gets good enough quality, and I'm not holding it like very far from me, and it's small and compact, and I don't have to worry about if it gets banged around.
So there was, there is maybe some hope for them because on the GoPro YouTube channel, there is a preview that was like 2 weeks ago, or this is a month ago at this point. There's a preview of like the next generation of GoPro because they're actually coming up with a new processor for it. And this is like their Hail Mary, to put it into sports terms for all you sporties out there.
Or the most recent movie that came out, Project Hail Mary, which I still haven't seen.
I need to see that too. Now let me know if you're going to go because I want to see it. But the images do look good. And I think that's if they can up the image quality and usability, like you're saying, because the better processor should allow for less, heat generation. Like smaller processor nodes are more heat efficient and power efficient. So if they can balance that to the image quality, which has always been acceptable, I've always been like, it's a GoPro, but it looks okay.
I mean, it can shoot in 4K, so like
it sure, yeah, it can. Some of the shots in the preview have some like depth of field to them, and I'm like, ooh, that's something you can't really get on a GoPro before. So it's like if they can figure that out, they might have a chance. They might, but it might be almost time to say goodbye to a legend, a mismanaged legend in the world of sports.
We're a sports podcast. GoPro, listen, we can talk. We can maybe be helpful to you in some capacity.
I know you don't have money. Why don't you sponsor us? Just give us money.
Hey, fly us out, show us the camera. Maybe we'll talk about it. Maybe there's some good stuff to be had there.
Maybe, why not? I would love a preview of the early access to the next one. I would love to see what you've got cooking up. Hey, and if it's good, I'd definitely use it in videos. Maybe if it's good and free.
We could definitely, film some good stuff with it and showcase its capability.
I'm a text. I don't have my phone. Never mind. I have my phone. I'm a text. I'm gonna text Ben right now. Like, I'm here. GoPro's cooking up a new camera. Any contacts there to get early access? Maybe ? Might be the last chance to try.
Yeah, I mean, we've used GoPro for a good amount of stuff over the years. Like going back to when I first came out here in 2016.
Would be a shame to see it go, but hey. Sometimes that happens.
It would. I'm actually subscribed to their membership program to have cloud storage. So, In other news, with relation to GoPro, this actual thing that we're talking about would be a perfect type of event that GoPro would be used for, actually.
What's that?
Well, the Kentucky Derby is coming up this week. That this episode comes out, it's Kentucky Derby week. But we are not talking about horse racing. No. That can be done with GoPro, sure, but that's weight on the horse that doesn't need to be there and would slow them down. Today, we are talking about the hot air balloon race.
Oh, at the Kentucky, there's what?
This is an annual race that takes place before the Kentucky Derby.
Does it?
Yeah. It's called the Great Balloon Race and has been happening this upcoming weekend on Saturday, the 25th of April. So the sport is hot air balloon racing. Even though most of the hype is about the horse race, the Kentucky Derby, but this race is the weekend before. The way that it works is there are hot air balloons. Now, hot air balloons, as you know, are at the whim of the wind.
Yeah, you can't control. People don't recognize this about a hot air balloon. You've been in a hot air balloon, right?
Yes.
So we've both been in hot air balloons, and it is not, there's no steering there. There's no control. You think you go up, and some people learn this when you're up there. It's like, so how do you land? And it's like, we fall slowly, hopefully. We just, kind of aim.
We hope the wind blows us in the direction of a field that's wide open for us to just lower ourselves onto.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be real nice if we didn't fall into the highway, but it could happen. It's happened before.
Electrical wires, they could cross our path. You don't know. The wind can shift.
So yeah, I did not know this was at the Kentucky Derby.
So this actually race has taken place almost every year since 1973, when the first one occurred with 7 balloons participating.
73, you said?
1973, yeah.
73, okay, got it.
So 53 years. And there were only 7 balloons in that race, but a man named Jimmy Crane won.
Jimmy Crane!
Landing his marker 400 yards from the X. Now, what is this X that we're talking about, right? Well, this X is how the race works. So what happens is one hot air balloon takes off before the rest, called the hare balloon.
The hare balloon?
Yes. You know, like how in dog races, people chase the hare?
Oh.
So that is the balloon that they're chasing. So it's a hare and hound type of race in this balloon race for the Kentucky Derby.
And they all have pistols and they have to shoot the others down, right?
You're close. You're
I'm
actually
close?
closer than you think.
Oh, God. Okay. All right, then.
All the balloons then launch from the same site. So the first balloon takes off and then the other balloons are the hounds and they chase the hare. So the ground crew set up the balloon. You got 5 to 10 minutes before the race start and the hare balloon takes off. It then has to find a place to land and lay out a giant fabric X that's usually about 50 feet in diameter. All right. So it takes off and lands. Whenever it decides to land, when all the other balloons are chasing it, they're all around the same time. So they have the same wind conditions and they take off. Now you're off the ground. You got to use burners to blast heat and ascend around 1,000 feet per minute or faster. And so during flight, you'll chase down the hare balloon, following the wind, and try and drop your marker closest to the X. When you see the X, what the balloons will do is they descend towards the ground and drop a marker, which I imagine is just a giant lawn dart.
Is it?
Or a sandbag.
Okay. All right. Well, which is it? Those are multiple. I think you would know, right?
I'm going to see what the marker looks like here.
Yeah, you're asking me. Like, I would know. I was like, I don't know.
Let's see what this marker looks like here.
Oh my God,
he's swinging something around.
It's like
you see that?
Slingshot. Is that how he's like paddling in the air?
Yeah, that's how he's getting. It's his propeller. It does look like it's like.
I don't think.
It's a sling. It's slinging a rock with a ribbon.
Oh, I didn't think he needed to do that many wind-ups.
I think he was trying to really get a gauge for his angle, you know?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah. It's for the crowd. The crowd's on looking. It's an exciting time when the marker gets dropped, okay?
When guys start swinging sacks, I get, yeah, swing!
Yeah, swing your sack! Swing it harder!
So exciting! Yes, please!
And so the winner of the race is the balloon that places the marker closest to the center of the X.
Mm-hmm.
Now, after you drop that X, you, of course, need to find a place to land. So, thankfully, wicker baskets do have some shock absorption in them. And once all the balloons have dropped their markers, the race officials measure the distance. And since balloons will land in all different places, you won't know who won or lost until you all arrive back at the same location. Past winners of the race have been anywhere from 4 inches away to over 500 yards away from the X.
500 yards? Were they even trying? What the hell is that about?
Wind blowing, man. Very shifty wind.
Wind do be blowing, it do. So it's not that they're landing in the same spot, because that's almost impossible to control. It's they're just throwing something.
Yes, but they have to chase the balloon, so being closer to it. So speed on liftoff and finding the right wind current, being lucky, is a huge factor. But then having a good arm.
That's true. Yeah, being able to actually, if you're way off target, you need to judge how far you need to throw. But if it's really far, yeah, you need to chuck it as hard as you can.
Well, and then you're also thinking about, all right, how high am I? Should I get lower? Should I get higher to try and throw it further? What are the wind conditions? Also spotting the X. You might fly for a while and not see the X and just keep going.
That's true. Yeah. Is it? I mean, it looked like it was yellow in that video clip that you showed me.
Yeah, it looks like that is yellow. So it should stand out really well amongst like the green. I also think it's a whole tarp. I don't think it's just like the X mark, but it might change year to year. Because yellow also would blend into like dried out fields. So I would think something brighter like a red would be better. But
yeah.
But that's how the hot air balloon race works. All right. To get to the race, we first needed the hot air balloon.
Going to Rome? You saying they got Roman hot air balloons? Is that where you're going? Going to ancient Rome?
So
the basket was first made in ancient Rome. The first balloon was made in Rome.
Is that what you're saying?
No, this was made in Paris, France.
Basically Rome. If you think of it, the Roman Empire, they pushed out towards France. Bunch of Romans.
Oh, those big Roman French, the French Romantics.
Yep, that's it. I know that subgroup. Yep.
They created this hot air balloon made of paper and cloth. Brothers named Joseph Michel and Jacques Etienne Montgolfier.
Okay.
The original balloon carried two men, Francis Pelletrie de Rosière and François Laurenet, Marquis of Arlanders.
That was great, man. It was good stuff.
I'm trying real hard here. But originally, they stood on a circular platform attached to the bottom of the balloon and hand-fed fire through openings on either side of the balloon's skirt. Needless to say, a giant fire hazard.
Sounds like it.
The balloon reached an altitude of at least 500 feet and traveled about 5.5 miles before landing safely 25 minutes later. 5 miles in 25 minutes, that's actually pretty decently fast. But there's a legend that they gave bottles of champagne to the farmers in the field they landed in, who would have been understandably upset or even frightened seeing a flying giant object with men on it. Because we're used to seeing aircraft today, but in the 1700s, air travel was unheard of.
Yes, definitely.
You want to see the model of this first balloon?
Sure. That is a balloon?
It looks like they were shoving the fire like down here.
Just shove the fire. This is giving me a weird flashback to a game that I haven't played in a long time called Magic Carpet 2.
What? What is this?
Okay, so Magic Carpet basically was way ahead of its time. I'm telling you, way ahead of its time. It had like destructible environments. It was released in like 95, okay? Or actually 96. You fly around on a magic carpet, you got a bunch of spells, you build your castle up, you get mana, and you fight other wizards on their carpet. But the thing is, the mana came from your castle in a hot air balloon.
What?
It had this like Aladdin vibes, you know.
How have I never heard of this?
It was a niche game even back then. Like I wouldn't have talked about it in any way. I haven't played it in years. I might have mentioned it once on some video somewhere. I've never done a video. But Magic Carpet 2, a lot of people out there might be like, oh, that game, because it was one of those games where, you know, everyone who had a computer at their house had a random different game. You know, it's just like, unless it was Doom, it was like they had a whole assortment. This one is great. It was made by Bullfrog. The creator was Peter Molyneux, the guy who made like the Fable series, Black and White, and also lied about all these games you were making and their abilities and things, but still really, really prolific person in the foundation of gaming. And it's just, it has hot air balloons. That's the only relation that it has.
Is Black and White the God game?
Yeah, it's where you're a hand and you get to worship it. One of the best games of all time. Like, incredible game. What a rare moment in time. Also, Populous 2, or Populous, whatever that. Populous 2, I think it was.
Is that like an early edition of like a Civ game?
It's kind of like a Civ game. I can't, maybe Populous 3, I think, actually was the one where they kicked it up a notch, I think. But I can't remember.
Fascinating.
It is fascinating, yes. I'm going to go play it later.
Well, before the first manned flight that we just talked about, there were many unmanned tethered flights. One test a few days before the first flight was manned by a sheep, a duck, and a rooster.
Yeah, okay. I've heard this joke before.
Versailles and watched by King Louis the 14th. Or is that the 16th? No, it's the 16th, yeah. The fabric of the balloon ripped, but still managed to soar almost 200 feet in the air and travel about 2 miles before landing. All the animals survived. As such, King Louis added the animals to his menagerie at the Palace of Versailles.
Menagerie?
Did I say it wrong?
Menagerie would be a menagerie a trois.
A menage. I get it. Menagerie.
I might be wrong.
I don't know. More than likely, I'm wrong. You're right.
I've never heard a French person say it, so who knows?
Needless to say, hot air balloons were a novelty and never a practical way to travel. Wood and coal were generally heavy, so fuel to travel any distance would be too heavy for liftoff and hard to control, especially with most of the balloons made of fabric and flammable objects. Then came about the modern air balloon, developed in the 1950s in South Dakota by Ed Yost and Jim Winker. Their experiments resulted in the first successful flight on October 22nd, 1960. And as soon as it existed, people started racing them. Most focus on who could travel the farthest, so like an endurance race. And then shortly after the modern air balloons, competitive hot air ballooning took off as a sport, with the first U.S. national championships taking place in 1963. Leading into the Derby race of 1973 that has taken place every year. Now there's around 20 balloons that compete, and this year's race launches at 7 a.m., Saturday, April 22nd at Bowman Field in Louisville, Kentucky.
Well, there you have it.
But
there's so much more.
My God, there couldn't possibly be more.
If we want to get into how a hot air balloon works, we could.
I know, I want it. I want it all. I mean, not many people out there would know. There'd be some confusion about it. We've touched on it, but there's more. Talk about buoyancy.
Well, I was just going to talk about are you talking about the buoyancy of how hot air rises and will go above cold air?
Yeah, generally. Buoyancy's weird. It's weird sometimes. It is weird.
It is. The thought of physics and how everything works.
Yeah, like I know
it's like hot water rises. Why?
But it's like, okay, so it's like if you have a block of ice, it's water, but because it's less dense, it floats, but it's water. But when a solid it's because it's forming. And if a block of ice, say, is at the bottom of an ocean, for some reason, I don't know why, it knows it should be above the water. It knows. How does it know? How does it know?
It's the whole thought of like, and also liquids operate differently. Like some solids sink in the liquid form of themselves.
I know, yeah.
It's so weird.
It's weird. How does it know? So explain that to our audience.
No, I can't.
These are a bunch of, these are sport people. They don't get why. They don't know.
But what I can talk about are the parts of the hot air balloon. You have your envelope, which is the bag. It's the big thing on top. It's usually fire-resistant nylon made of lightweight materials, often seen in backpacks and tents, woven into panels. And 2 panels make up a gore, and there are 24 gores.
Gores?
A large vertical section to the entire envelope. And they're held together by stitching and heavy-duty load tapes.
Load tapes, eh?
Webbing similar to the material used in seatbelts. Then you have the basket, usually wicker or aluminum and fiberglass, either a square or rectangle in shape. Wicker is generally a good shock absorber, but fiberglass, lighter.
Yeah, but would you want that, though?
Why would you want it to be lighter?
Yeah.
Because it's easier to then lift. You can have a smaller envelope and not have to burn as much fuel. But then you're also more susceptible to the wind conditions, so you weigh your options. That was not intended, but I'm glad it worked. And then there's the rigid tubular framework that extends from the basket upwards and attaches to the 24 stainless steel cables suspended from the envelope. Then you have your burner system, which is what's used to heat the air that's then being put into the air balloon, because it doesn't start out full. Have you ever seen a hot air balloon launch?
Yeah, yeah.
The way that they lay it down and like low fire, like try and push air in is so weird.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll use leaf blowers to push more air in to inflate it so that you don't accidentally have the fire hit the side. But the whole idea is to inflate it and then get it heated so it goes above the basket. In the olden days, they would just use sandbags that they would then untie. I think nowadays they mostly just stake it into the ground because then they don't have to worry about coming back to get the sandbags.
I see.
Yeah, it's just talking about how the burner system works, where they use propane and ignite it, and then ignite the vapor, sending the flame into the envelope, making the loud whooshing, and heat rate of 12 million BTUs per hour.
That sounds like a lot. I mean, everyone knows what BTUs are, so.
The heat produced per hour by one burner is enough to heat 123 bedroom homes comfortably.
To yeet 120 bedroom homes?
Heat.
Yeet them.
Heat.
To yeet. All right. Oh my God, he's got a diagram.
Diagram of the balloon.
Wow.
And
that's
then the
quite
basket.
a balloon. You ever see that movie about the hot air balloon scientists that go up?
Are you talking about the weather balloon one or the...
Yeah, well, I think they're weather ballooning, but it's a basket, it's a hot air balloon, and they're like scientists. That's all I know about it.
Yeah, I
haven't seen that one. I haven't either. I've just watched clips on TikTok. I've seen that movie 287 pieces at a time,
Yeah. That was me. There's a movie that came out that I saw a bunch of clips of, but never saw the movie. And I was like, oh, yeah, I know of that. This kind of happens. And they're like, oh, have you seen it? No.
I got the general gist of it. It's like I've never seen The Walk, but I've seen clips of it on TikTok and things like that. It's like, yeah, I get the gist of it. I got enough out of it that I don't want to watch it, because I don't like any kind of movie that's purely just about torture, just basically look at all these people dying and suffering. Says the guy who made Iron Lung.
You're right. Oh, man, there's so much blood. Jeez, I already know the whole movie. No, but that happened to me with season 2 of One Piece. I saw so many clips of it that it's like, I feel like I already know what happens. Then again, I do because I've seen it, but...
I'm not a One Piece fan. I don't get it. There's 900 billion episodes of it, and the anime is the manga is so unbelievably long, and it's never interested me. I don't know. I haven't given it a shot, so what can I really say? But I usually would watch something if it interests me. I'm not a huge anime guy, but I've watched several because I'm like, that seems interesting. Everything I've seen about One Piece has been against my will. It's just been and everything has been disappointing from the moment that I see it. I'm like, this looks dumb. I'm gonna anger a lot of people by saying that. I'm sure it just looks dumb. That's all I can say about it. I'm sure it's really good. I'm sure it is.
I'm on episode 800 and something, so you know what?
You've seen 800 episodes?
800
episodes? God, 800? Is it good?
It has really, really good episodes, and there's some deep meaning in a lot of it. There's definitely filler. So
okay.
Oda, who's the artist behind it, is actually remaking it for the modern day and removing as much filler and shortening it. So
he's making an abridged version. I see. Well, that's good. Now he can make twice as much money.
Exactly. Well, it's really just because it's daunting seeing that I think it's at 1,200 something episodes right now, 1,300, obscene amount of episodes.
Oh, yeah, it's hard for someone to get into.
It's daunting. Just seeing that number of episodes is daunting. I took the leap, and I haven't watched anything else since I started it. I've watched some movies. I've seen Iron Lung 2 or 3 times, and then I've seen maybe one other movie since I started. But man, I'm missing so much other media right now just trying to catch up on One Piece.
No, I can see how that would consume your entire life. And at that point, you kind of get into it, and you're like, well, I'm this far. I gotta keep going.
I wonder if people feel that way about our podcast.
No, every episode is a thrill, and every episode is informative and essential. We don't have filler. We don't have filler.
No filler here at all. No random tangents. Nothing happens. What do you mean? We're always on topic, always
entertaining, always perfect. Every joke lands, every story beat hits. It's all perfect. We could not improve.
Yeah. Well, in hot air balloons, there are different roles. You have a pilot, you have a crew chief, and you have your ground crew. Pilot controls the fire thingy.
Wait, hold on. There's a crew chief for who? There's 2 people in the balloon. What crew?
The ground crew that help inflate the balloon.
Okay, the crew chief. Is the crew chief in the balloon?
All right. He leads the ground crew and communicates with the pilot, coordinates the ground crew and the pilot about navigation and landing.
I see. Okay. All right. Gotcha. Okay. I see.
It's like the crew chief in NASCAR. He's like, all right, get ready. This hot air balloon's coming in on your left. The big blue one. Watch out for it.
It's coming in hot.
Oh!
And he waits for laughter every time. He says it every race. And all the pilots are like, oh, I could jump.
That one on your right is really a basket case.
You're winking into the radio. Are you hearing me wink?
Can you hear it?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, you forgot to push the button down when you're laughing. I want to hear you laugh.
Oh, man. And then the ground crew obviously just helps with setup, liftoff, landing, and packing the balloon because it is a massive undertaking. Depending on the size of the balloon, they can get really, really big. It's an undertaking to pack it up either way because to lift off the ground with even one person in requires a significant amount of hot air.
Yeah, they're heavy.
Those baskets alone are obscenely heavy, actually. No wonder they want to use fiberglass sometimes because of how heavy the wicker baskets are. It is not a one-person lift, I'll tell you that.
Would they bother doing it? Because I remember when they pack in really small, but even then, when they were packing up the balloons for when we went on hot air balloon, it was like a company that did it. They just had a chase truck going out there and then several dudes and they just slam it all down. Yeah, it cannot be easy.
So the first time I was in a hot air balloon, granted, and the only time, I only went like 20 feet in the air. I didn't do like the full ride. Is because it landed in my friend's backyard when I was a little kid and we all ran over there because it was like this whole thing. And it was actually the Remax hot air balloon, the one that advertises for the real estate company. And it landed in my friend's backyard, Michael. And we ran over there and we all got to launch up in the air and it'd move a little bit and then go down.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was fun. So that's the hot air balloon race. Maybe one day somebody in our audience will join in on the race and throw the marker and win the prize, whatever that is, because there's no real prize that I can see.
And the Kentucky Derby also happens. Well, who cares? Who cares?
Yes, the horse race, the big horse race in Kentucky. It has another name for it. I can't think of the name of it other than the Kentucky Derby.
You know, the big horse race, that one.
I think it's the first one in the Triple Crown. The Kentucky Derby is.
Oh, I don't know. We probably covered this at some point, but I don't remember.
But the thing is, the reason we don't have a primer on horse races is it's, all right, jockeys on horses go in gates, gates release them, they run around the track, and the first person to finish wins. We can talk about like how old they are, how old the horses are and training and stuff, I guess, but there's really not a lot to talk about in horse racing, other than it primarily exists for gambling purposes, and we don't condone sports gambling on this podcast.
We don't at all.
But that'll do it, Mark. Do you think you'll ever participate in the giant hot air balloon race in Kentucky?
Do I have to pilot it?
No.
Okay, then probably still no. I don't know why I qualified it like that.
I'll be your pilot, Mark. You just throw the marker.
Even less. I'll do it even less. I'll be in Thailand. I can't.
No, you'll be in Guam.
I'll be in Guam. No hot balloons in Guam.
No hot air balloons in Guam. No, sir. But that's going to do it for this episode. Mark, thank you for making the time.
Thank you.
Excited to hear about all the good news with the new pup. And eventually we'll both be in studio again, recording a fantastic episode for you all. Remember, if you want to support this podcast, because if you notice, the Spotify insignia at the beginning is gone, you can buy merch and support us directly. store.gmfst.com. It'd be incredible for you to sport it out in the sport world and also to support our fantastic podcast. And if you want to go check out the Reddit, contribute your comments, reddit.com/r/gmfst. But that's going to do it for here. Any last words, Mark?
Just remember, an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Bye.